podcast is late.
Yes, I know, Bilford.
It was supposed to come out in
Yes,
August,
I know.
coinciding with the
Uh-huh.
number 8.
Yep, I
We
know.
were to discuss the Emmys.
I missed the ball on that too, didn't I?
You did, sir.
That was rhetorical.
And discussed the upcoming shows this fall.
Yes.
And
Yes,
what's
I know.
on Netflix.
You aren't helping, Bilford.
I was attempting to be your conscience.
I really don't like you right now.
And it's almost October.
Oh, the dream is collapsing.
FX presents the Indoob podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indoobians. I am T. Sterling Watson, and this is the Indoob podcast. Welcome one, welcome all. And welcome back for those of you that have waited for, I guess, maybe 2 months now? And here I was thinking I was going to be consistently doing at least maybe one podcast a month. And now it is almost the end of September. Just so much has been going on. But I won't bore you with details. Instead, I'm just going to bore you with the events of today. Because today, I don't know. I've still been in somewhat of a very salad-y mood, or I just want a good salad. Most of the time, I'm pretty simple, pretty easy. Just give me a Caesar salad, romaine lettuce, throw some cheddar cheese, Parmesan probably. That's what's in Caesar salads, and Caesar dressing if you have it. I know some places like McDonald's doesn't carry that. They have Caesar-esque salads. And I say Caesar-esque because you can just somewhat customize it. There's a blog piece coming on the indoob.com website that you can check out sooner or later that will describe in detail my experiences of trying to get a salad at a fast food place, which I guess might not be recommended, but then again, if you only have a 30-minute lunch on your job, then you've got to do what you got to do. So, with all that said, I went to go get a salad today. I've kind of made my way through most of the fast food joints, but I still need to give Burger King another shot because they royally screwed me today. And not so much Burger King per se, but probably the worker that they have, which is a new person. I think I want to refer to this person as a person because I'm not really sure if it was a male or a female, and I don't mean that in any kind of sexist way. It's just I was generally confused because it could have been just, a boy fresh hired like 16 and maybe his voice didn't just drop yet, and he kind of seemed like he might have had boyish features, but then again maybe he was a woman or a young lady, again a young lady like 16 just hired, fresh out of school, and hasn't fully developed but has hairy arms. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the gender was, but this person was new, didn't quite know the layout of Burger King per se. I probably had more experience just based on my father being a manager of Burger King for some number of odd years. I want to say like 15 or so. I mean, probably more than that. What I like to tell people is that I was raised on Burger King because my dad managed one for most of my childhood, really. So all the new toys that came out, all the food, all the burgers and fries I could ever eat or want to eat, it was all on the house. So I never actually worked for Burger King. If anything, I would just do little medial tasks like picking up the trays that people might have left behind and bring them to the back so it could be washed. But most of the times, like if I was hanging out at Burger King with my dad, I would probably be like in the break room playing with the old-fashioned computers or in the training room where there actually was a TV and VCR combo, and I sometimes bring my Sega Genesis there. But all of that is beyond the point. I wanted to talk about a salad. And I do realize that I probably need to go visit a Tangents Anonymous because I have a little bit of an issue of just running off on tangents. But then again, that's what the Indoob podcast is for, just to get all of this out of my system. But I wanted to talk about the salad and then later talk about a spider that prolonged me from beginning this particular episode. By the way, this episode has nothing to do with salads or spiders, but I just wanted to get it out there because that's what's happening right now. Sometimes people want to know what's going on with you right now. Well, right now, I'm still a little upset about my salad because I ordered a Caesar salad, and it says it right on the menu, chicken Caesar salad. So I'm like, all right, good. I would like to have the chicken Caesar salad. So the person is looking on the little register thingy and is looking for probably what I just said, chicken Caesar salad. So I was like, no, sir, we don't have that anymore. And I go back and look at the menu, and then he starts, or the person continues. We have a grilled Caesar salad. We have a spicy Caesar salad. He lists all of them. I think another one was apple Caesar salad. You have got to be kidding me. I don't want apples. As much as I love apples, I don't want them mixed with my lettuce. So I tell him, okay, fine. Give me the grilled Caesar salad. So it's like, okay, anything else with that? It's like, yes, give me a small fry as well. Do all that. The order takes much longer than I think it should to prepare a salad. I know part of it comes with grilling the chicken, which really shouldn't take that long. But whatever. I'm pretty cool, calm, collective, well-mannered, passive, whatever. So I wait for however long it takes. I see the salad being passed to, my cashier person. And the cashier passes it over to me and puts my fries in the bag, but not the salad. But before even all of that happens, the person turns to me and asks, "Would you like a spoon or a fork?" I have a moment of I don't even know what the word would be, like I don't know, like lack of intelligence. I don't know, common sense really. I don't know. Who eats a salad with a spoon? I mean, if you do, then, I am not judging you. I just need to know how. Like, that takes a lot of work. I know there are salad spoons, but that's to grab salad. Like, they're big spoons, and you grab them and put them in smaller, like, bowls, and then you eat them with a fork. But, fruit salad, that's different. If it was a fruit salad, yeah, go ahead. Give me a spoon. Give me both, fork and a spoon. All of them. Yeah, but no, this is a regular salad. Now, what I didn't know, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but what I didn't know is that whoever even made the Caesar salad didn't know what they were making because, now, a Caesar salad, like I said, you just have some lettuce, particularly romaine lettuce, some Parmesan cheese, whether it's like sliced or shredded or however you want to put it. Maybe some croutons. They don't have to be there, but it'd be great if they were. Sometimes they throw in some cherry tomatoes. You can leave those out. I will eat them because I don't like wasting food, but they're gross. I know I'm picky, but whatever. And Caesar dressing. Some kind of dressing. If you don't have Caesar, give me something. So I don't get a bag for the salad. And I mentioned all the things that should be in a salad because the salad that they gave me had cranberries in it, dried cranberries. I don't know why. It did not say that on the menu. I know there was an option for some kind of dried cranberry salad, but that is not what I ordered. I didn't realize this until after I came home. And if I went to the Burger King closest to my home, maybe I would have went back, but this particular location was much farther away, so I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just pick them out and just eat the salad. Fortunately, I had Caesar dressing at home because they did not offer me any, because when I asked for Caesar dressing, my person decided to look just in his immediate whereabouts and did not see anything that looked like dressing. All he found was ranch sauce, barbecue sauce, what else did he mention? Zesty sauce, and there was one other one, honey mustard sauce. So, Yes, he was not quite helpful. My person, I keep calling him a he. The person, I don't want to put them on blast. Not that you would know who they were, because I'm not going to say which Burger King it was. But the person's name was Kelsey. So I'm not too sure if Kelsey is a male or a female name or both, kind of like a Jamie or just Chris. I mean, names are endless. So, but still, this Kelsey character was a newbie. I'm pretty sure, very new at the job, so he didn't quite have the experience to know where things were located, such as the dressing or the bags for the salad. Because of all the places I've been to get salad, they've always have like a special salad bag. I don't know why they do, but I guess because it's a bigger tray that they put it in. Plus, my parents, they go get salads all the time, so I see that they have different bags. Whatever. I get the salad. I eat the salad after I get home, of course, and pick out all the berries, and that's when I realize that no croutons either, and it's okay. I can deal with the salad without croutons. Plus, I have some at home, but so you just want that whole salady experience, and Kelsey sullied that for me. I'm still a little just ugh. Meanwhile, before I begin to even record, I decided I was going to pull out one of my other microphones. Now, I recently rearranged a bunch of things, and I'm like, you know what? Today, I'm going to record at my desk, because, it's all these late night talk shows, they've got desks. I should record at my desk, even though you guys can't see it. You'll know that I'm recording at my desk, but I am not recording at my desk, not this time. There was too much interference, I think, because with my laptop positioned where it was, which is on top of another laptop next to a Blu-ray player, which is off, and a cable box. So all of these things give off a kind of interference, like a hum, and I'd have to go through and post and take out that hum just in order to sit at my desk, whereas instead I could just move the laptop over to a heap of clothing and just, place it on that and continue working. And that is exactly what we're doing now. But I said all that to say this, because I wanted to use one of my microphones, one of my different ones, and I was like, okay, I'll use this one, because like I said, I moved everything around, and like, okay, I can position this right here. And as I'm getting everything situated, out pops a white spider. If I were to give it a size, I'm going to say maybe dime size. Not the body, but maybe total. Actually, total with the legs expanded, probably a quarter. But it was bright, kind of a whitish, brownish kind of color. I probably shouldn't go into too much detail, because I know some of you are a little squeamish even just discussing spiders. So, nevertheless, the spider jumped out. I was startled. I gave a manly kind of look. Oh, not that I was scared, but it shocked me. It surprised me a little bit. I wasn't expecting it. And I'm like, oh, there's a spider there. I better, destroy it, because it might come to get me. And I basically failed at that, because I didn't have anything to kind of kill it with. I'm a little nervous about some of these spiders. I don't know which ones are poisonous, which ones, are safe, which ones bite, and I don't want to try to kill something and miss, and then all of a sudden crunch or whatever noises that spiders make when they bite people. And I don't want any of that, and I don't want any of their juices or anything like that. No residue, none of that. I don't want any of that nonsense. So I did grab something and tried to kind of kill it off at the side, but then it fell, and I'm like, oh, it's at a weird angle, and this object that I used to try to kill it with isn't quite gonna work, and let me try to hit it again, and basically it just fell into the carpet, which it blends in very, very nicely, and now it walks among us, or at least among me, with the carpet that it can easily camouflage in. Now, I could go grab a vacuum, but again, it's because of the desk, which is already it's a very heavy desk, so it's not like I can just slide the desk over and try to vacuum up or get wherever the spider. No, that's not going to happen. So it may have been killed. Maybe I've injured it. Maybe I took off a leg. I don't know. Maybe it is dead, and I just can't see it. But it's always that saying where you see in a lot of crime shows, no body, no crime. So I don't have a body to prove that I killed it, and everyone can rest easy. No, the spider still might be walking amongst us somewhere, or it could just be limping around, or just still catching a breather. I don't know, but spider's out there. So that has been the past hour or so of my evening before I began to record, which was been my intention the entire day. It's been quite a day, but none of that, not right now, because I want to get into talking about some other things that have been happening as of late. Normally, I try to do something somewhat Emmys related, even whether it's a recap or prior to the Emmys, try to not necessarily predict, but just say, hey, these are the people that are nominated, and I think these people should win. I still haven't quite figured out the Emmys game quite yet on how to predict who should win or who would win. Yet sometimes it's a little easier than others, because like when it involves a Daily Show or something, then that's kind of almost like a given. Even though what I'm most interested in next year is with the new host that's coming, whose name just literally escaped me. I knew what his name was. I'm looking forward to seeing his new show. Well, him hosting the show. But yeah, will he still have the same, whatever it is that Jon Stewart had? Will he have it enough to win an Emmy next year for the show, or will some other shows get a chance? Will Jimmy Fallon get his chance to get an Emmy? I think he deserves it. I'm a big fan of Stephen Colbert's new show. I'm enjoying the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I do catch Conan on occasion. James Corbin, that's the other new one. I am still trying to figure that one out. I do like that it's different in the fact that he actually has both of his guests come out at the same time versus having one come out and then the other one comes out later. Sometimes the first guest stays, sometimes they don't. But he actually has them both come out together. They have to walk through the audience and they sit like all together and they chat. Other times, Corbin. I'm hoping I'm saying Corden or Corbin. I don't have his name in front of me right now, but they will both do him and his guest, maybe perhaps they will do sketches, which is nice. It's different. They all have, each host has their own thing, which I think is pretty cool. I like that. But do I like watching his show? I want to, but I'm not really awake anymore to kind of watch it, and I don't have the DVR space to record it. I do miss Craig Ferguson, who, again, seeing him live in person is just tears rolling down my face all night long. But I'd go see Stephen Colbert. I'd go see his show if I got the opportunity. I'm mixing things. When I talked about Craig Ferguson, I'm actually talking about his stand-up show that he did a couple months ago, and that was hilarious. It was like maybe an hour set or something. I don't know, but it was, I could have died. But yeah, Stephen Colbert, The Late Show, is doing great. It's got a lovely intro that features tilt shift photography. I love it. What else is out there? Like I said, Fallon, he's also pretty good. I don't really do Kimmel too much. I hear about things, not bad things, but just, it's like, oh, Kimmel had a bit on his show. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's it for late night talk, I suppose. I really wanted to get into the new fall shows that are happening. But unfortunately, again, this is just me kind of being busy and not like keeping up to date with the things I intended to do. Every year I try to predict which shows are going to be canceled. Not just like which shows are going to be canceled first, but just shows that aren't going to make it until the end of the season. Or until next season, really. So I have not done that. I got a few ideas, and it's nothing against the show. It's nothing against like the actors in the show. It's just most of the time it's just a gut feeling. And I usually try to do the predictions before they even air, but I missed the ball on that, and here we are. It's now what? Technically, right now it's Wednesday, and it's like at the end of September. So some of the shows have already started, and I've only watched a couple of them, and a few of them are in the DVR, and I just haven't been awake enough to comprehend all that's going on. So yeah, that's where we are with that. I will get back to you on my analysis of these new shows. And in fact, I don't know if it's going to be possible. Well, yeah, it'll be possible. I just don't know if it'll happen. But I intend to write reviews for each of these shows or the pilots of these shows just to give my more in-depth opinion on each one. I'm talking about shows like The Muppets, which I did watch. I actually did watch that one. And, I had laughed. I feel like other people on Twitter might have laughed a little more than I did, but I was entertained, which is the point. I've watched some of Limitless. My mother was a little confused of my description of what I mean by I kind of looked at it, meaning I was in the same room, the TV was on, the volume was lowish, and I was more paying attention to other things that like were on my computer, or I was trying to clean something. I don't know, but I wasn't fully engaged in the show, and there's no fault of the shows. It was mine, just my mind being out there and just dwelling and flying around, and does what it does. So I have to watch it again when I'm more focused, and I have less things that I'm trying to work on, and maybe we'll get through it together, all of us. Minority Report, I also started to watch it, and I was enjoying all the tech that was going on, but I was having a sick day, and I was not able to finish watching that either. I also recorded Blind Spot, which I've heard from someone else that compare it to Memento, Christopher Nolan's Memento. Just in case we were confused, I was talking about the lovely candies, but no, that's not Memento. Those are Mentos. Haha, yes. Anyway, I have not watched any of those shows quite yet, but I will. And along with the other shows that are coming up with the next couple weeks or so, I will check them out and do the best I can to write up a pretty decent report review, whether or not you should watch it or if I think it's going to make it. I think that's what I might have to do this year, is kind of call it after the fact, but sometimes that's a little bit cheating because sometimes some shows get canceled after 2 episodes. For example, Scream Queens. Is that going to make it? I don't know. People are already having their doubts, or maybe not even doubts, they just don't like it. The other thing I did want to talk about, which will lead into some other things, is Netflix, because Netflix seems to be taking over the world, if it hasn't already. Well, they still have to catch up with Google and Apple. Maybe not so Microsoft. I don't know. But Netflix has some of the best shows and a bunch of shows on the way. And not just shows. They have a lot of comics and stand-up specials, as well as some just films that are exclusive to Netflix. I'm not talking about the B-rated ones, the ones that are straight to DVD that you usually find in the bargain bin at CVS. Yes, at CVS. Just forget Walmart. Go straight to CVS and you'll find these films that people make, and I would assume or imagine that grandmothers buy to give their grandchildren. It's like, here's these newfangled movie production discs that you can put onto your TV box and play it. Because, it's got a dog on it and you like dogs, so here you go. Yeah, you can find those on Netflix. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about other movies like What Happened, Miss Simone, which is a documentary about Nina Simone. And it is fantastic. It is great. Just wonderful. Another great movie you want to check out is Advantageous. Now, I put this recommendation out there, but not for everybody, because it is a very dense film. It's very, like, every moment is important. Even when they're not saying anything, the silence is deafening. There's just so much going. I haven't even described the movie, what it's about. What happened was a few weeks ago, we watched it for a sci-fi Saturday night sci-fi. I can speak, and we all live tweeted it, and that got the attention of the filmmaker Jennifer Fang, who actually reached out to some of us and discussed the film, the ins and outs of it, what it's about. And since I mentioned sci-fi, it does take place in the future. There's a whole lot of science fiction tech, some of it which might actually become real in the future. And I'd say look into it because I don't want to do a disservice in describing what the film is about, other than the possibility of not necessarily living forever, but having a transplant of sorts, of moving your consciousness into another body, kind of thing. It's complicated, and it's a movie that we did live tweet, but there's a lot of things that we missed, and I know for myself I need to go back and watch it again because I know it was like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, gotcha. All right. So there's that. So check out those films. There's a ton of other ones, but those are the two that I've seen and really liked. There are, like I said, a number of TV shows that Netflix does, like House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, all which has new seasons, and I believe has been already renewed for more seasons next year. And one show that I still have not really given a full try yet is Marco Polo. I didn't get through the first episode. I kind of got bored, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm in the mood for this. But there's other shows like Narcos, which I still haven't tried. I mean, that just came out like a couple weeks ago. BoJack Horseman, I watched most of the first season, but I realized I couldn't do it anymore. For me, just personally, it just has that kind of ilk, or that film from the back lots of like Hollywood, where I've seen a lot of movies that take place in like Southern California and that kind of Hollywood hills, and there's a kind of filth in film that just kind of lingers in certain movies and stories. It's hard to describe, but it's got a feeling to it, and it's kind of gross. It's one that I don't enjoy, and BoJack Horseman is laced with it. So while I do get a lot of the humor, and I kind of find the show to be enjoyable at times, overall it just leaves that kind of feeling in my mental mouth, and I don't like it. So I'm not going to continue watching as much as I love Will Arnett, and I mean a lot of the people that are involved, like Alison Brie, Paul F. Tompkins, all just great cast, great casting all around. I just can't do it. So I mean, if it's your thing, you enjoy it, continue to watch it. I just can't do it. Grace and Frankie, I have not watched yet. I think I might at some point eventually. And Wet Hot American Summer, first day of camp, I have not watched, only because I know the movie's out there and I prefer to watch the movie first, even though this show is a prequel to the movie, which I find to be quite interesting, as the movie is like 10 or so years older than the TV show that Netflix is producing. So that I find quite interesting and intriguing. So I do want to watch in the order they were made. So I prefer to watch the movie first and then watch the TV show and then see how they mix. But with all that said, now let's get to the shows that I actually really like and really wanted to talk to you about. Yes, we've gone through like a whole half an hour just to get to this. Daredevil, which is amazing, and it's crazy that I have not talked about Daredevil all this time. But then again, I've only been doing this podcast seldomly, so how could I not really quite get into it like I wanted to? But yeah, Daredevil, awesome, amazing. It's kind of a shame that it didn't get like any kind of like nominations for any Emmys or anything. I don't think that it has. No, I don't think it did. As I pretend to look up sources. And, I mean, because Vincent D'Onofrio playing Wilson Fisk, a.k.a. the Kingpin, but even though he's not known by that title in this show, but, I mean, if you know the lore of, like, Marvel and Daredevil and Spider-Man, and you've seen the cartoons or the comics, you know who Kingpin is. and he embodies that character. He gives that character. It's amazing how like three-dimensional he is. Whereas in the cartoons, you just know him as this big burly, blockade of a man. But here you actually see that he is a man. He is a person. He is a human. He has feelings. He loves and hates and retaliates and does what he has to do to enhance his business. And it's amazing. That is one of the highlights of the show. I've heard other people say that sometimes it moves a little too slow for their liking. I can agree because at times it does get a little slow, but it's for good purpose, good reason. And for that, I say stick with it if you started it. I mean, definitely by, I think it's episode 2 that has that long fighting shot, which is just amazing that they pulled that off. That's just great. What else is there about it? I don't know. It's just great story. It just really delves in. Now, people also wonder what is the difference between this TV show and the Ben Affleck movie. Well, the only similarities are like the character names and some of the associations, but like it's definitely darker. It's less campy. It's definitely not sci-fi heavy. It's more in depth, more story about the man, like the men, the people involved, versus like, hey, he's got this super ability to super sense everything, which he does, and he does use it both on and off the streets because he is still a lawyer. I'm talking about Matt Murdock, and he does his thing. He does it well. So, and he's got other characters that he interacts with, and you get to know them and dive into their lives and what makes them human. And everybody's so three-dimensional. And I think that's what makes good TV is when the characters are allowed to actually live and exist, and you get to feel them and see them grow or just change or evolve. And it's really great. So I highly recommend Daredevil. It might not necessarily be for the faint of heart. I think out of all the Marvel productions so far, this is probably one of the more violent ones so far, like I said. Because even though it's not technically in the same universe, next year we will see Deadpool, but like I said, not technically in the same universe. Because there's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then there's what Marvel properties are left flying else out there. I'm getting tripped in my words because I want to move on to Kimmy Schmidt, or the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which I found to be like, I described it as the polar opposite of House of Cards, because where House of Cards, like this past season, is it's like incredibly dark and grim, just like you were just going to have a miserable day if you decide to binge watch all of House of Cards and then just want to go out and pick flowers. That's not going to happen. Nope. Instead, you might want to do that after watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and the great Titus Burress. Like I said, the names aren't in front of me right now, but he actually plays a character named Titus in the show, and he is absolutely hilarious. He steals every scene that he's in. It's a show that I frequently watch. I mean, I'll just turn it on, just have it in background noise. Not right now because I'm doing the podcast right now, so can't do that. But Ellie Kemper, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name correctly, but this is me. I don't pronounce everybody's name correctly. But Kimmy is adorable, just wonderful. And I have actually only have one GIF that I use. And yeah, I still use the word GIF. I'm not going to call it GIF. No, none of that. Guys, peanut butter. I'm talking about GIFs. So I do have one GIF that I do like to use of Kimmy just being Kimmy, and it's great. It's just full of happiness and joy and life and sunshine and colors. And Tina Fey is amazing. So I'm so glad that Netflix picked this up and NBC didn't screw it up, because they probably would have. So it's definitely a delight. Highly recommended. If you're ever in a horrible bad mood and you're like, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, rawr," then I definitely say go watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and try not to be upset. Just try it. Just try it. I think you might fail, and if you do fail, then don't tell me. I don't want to One more show, actually two more shows, but one more show I want to talk about, which I also have a hard time recommending because of its content, because of the drama and the seriousness of it all, is the show Bloodline, which did get some Emmy love as well. Now, let me back up a little bit. Kimmy Schmidt also got some Emmy love, but so did Bloodline by, I believe it's two main actors. Now I'm really struggling to come up with their names, but one of them is Ben Mendelsohn, I believe. I'm doing all this without like real notes. All I have is just, it's like, okay, talk about this show, talk about this show, talk about this show. No names, so please bear with me, but I believe it's Ben Mendelsohn, I think. And it's not John Livingston, because I always want to, and the name I'm confusing is the guy who plays in Office Space. I think that's what his name is. But no, this guy's name is something else. He played in Friday Night Lights and Early Edition, if you guys remember that far back, because I do. Only because I was at my grandmother's house every Saturday night, happened to be watching whatever is on CBS, which is Early Edition, Touched by an Angel, and Walker, Texas Ranger. And his name is still not coming to me. Oh well. Anyway, both of them, I believe, were nominated for an Emmy, especially Ben, who plays the character Danny. Now, Danny is definitely the character to watch, and the reason to watch Bloodline, because at first you hear his story about like, okay, this guy is, bad news. I mean, it even opens on him dying, or is he dying? I don't know. You might have to watch, but that's why you should watch, because it is so interesting. The way he just oozes and drips with antagonism. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of art. He should have won. In fact, I don't remember who did. I think it probably was Peter Dinklage. I don't know. I'm talking about the Emmy again, because it was for Best Supporting Actor, I believe. And it would have brought draw a little bit attention to Bloodline, but still, let me back up, because I know I didn't talk about what the show's about. I'm like, what is Bloodline? I never even heard of it. I barely did too. I kind of watched it on a whim, and then I found myself watching it like the entire season because I was so interested in Danny's character. But Bloodline is basically Arrested Development, but serious, like super serious, and takes place on, I think, in the Florida Keys. So not everyone, but some people have more of a kind of a southern accent to them, or they're all down by the bayou and swamplands, and it looks and feels like you kind of feel that hot, sweaty humidity that you can see on screen. You kind of feel it just watching it, which is kind of bittersweet. I kind of like it, and I kind of don't, because it makes me want to shower. Like, even if I just showered and I'm like, I'm going to watch a little bit of Bloodline. Oh, I feel all gross again. Now I got to go wash. But no, it's actually just good stuff. It's good television, great writing. I guess the people behind Damages, or producers or writers behind that, they came up with this show. So definitely check it out. If you heard some kind of barking just now, it's just Chief just making his presence. I think either someone is here. Yeah, I think someone's here. I don't know. But the last show I want to talk about just briefly, because I actually have an in-depth interview, or not even interview, it's just a returning guest, which I believe I did promise last episode. But the lovely Kortney Hinton is back, and full disclosure, it's actually something we recorded a while ago. And I just kept putting it off to add it, because I'm like, oh no, we're going to talk about all the Netflix shows, and I'll just, I'll stick it into that one. And yeah, so here we are, finally talking about it. Finally. And like I've literally been sitting on this this audio clip for, oh man, how long has it been? It's September, right? Wow, yeah. So quite a few months. Yeah, so it's a few months, and I can already say now, because I know we talk about it in the conversation, that it's definitely a show worth watching again. I still haven't watched it again, but it still comes up in conversation, at least for those of us who have watched it and enjoyed it, because there are a lot of people who watched it and didn't like it for whatever reasons. Again, it's sometimes it's about a TV show finding itself and taking time to grow with its characters. So, like Sense8, like Daredevil, even Bloodline, it it might start out a little slow, but that's just to introduce us to who's who and what's going on. And I'm going to throw one more show. It's not on Netflix. It actually just started premiering on AMC. It's Fear the Walking Dead. Now, I don't watch The Walking Dead yet. I have started. I tried. I think I watched maybe 2 or 3 of the first episodes, very first season. Um, Again, that's another long story. We'll get back to that later. But um, Fear the Walking Dead had that problem of just introducing us to characters, but not really making us like them, or even like to dislike them. I just didn't care about them at all, and I personally don't know what it was about it. Was it? I don't know. I really don't know. And for those of you that have watched it, I want to hear your opinion, or even your opinion on any of the shows I discussed, so we can hash it out and talk about it. Um, Mostly on Twitter, because that's normally where you can find me. Not necessarily every night, but especially Friday nights when I do Fringe Friday. I was going to say right here on Twitter, but I'm not necessarily right here. But Fringe hashtag Fringe Friday. For the next couple weeks, I'm also doing Firefly. That's on at 8 o'clock or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Netflix. That's where we do most of our live tweeting events from. But yeah, 8 o'clock is Firefly, hashtag DatFly. And at 9 o'clock, we do Fringe Friday. And just make sure follow me at indoob. And I will tell you what time. I already said what time, but what episodes, like what season. And yeah, and just wait until I give the go. And then we will go and rock and roll and start watching some good old sci-fi entertainment. And possibly, I'm not sure yet. I'm just putting it out there in the air, but I might have to switch up my Fringe Friday to do Jessica Jones when that comes out November 20th. So we'll see about that when that happens. But for now, let's just, take a quick break and move on and talk about Sense8. And yeah, sounds like a plan, huh? Yeah, good. All right, great.
The indoob podcast.
So something that we both find, I guess, because we're rewatching it already.
Yeah.
Sense8, which
Yes.
um, I have given a review, I think earlier, maybe in this podcast or a previous one, just trying to do it without spoilers. But for those who have not seen it yet, I'm giving you this warning now that we're going to just dive into it and talk about everything, since we've already completed the season, so we can just talk about whatever. So I don't know exactly if we're going to come out of this, but I'll come in, I'll edit myself in and say, okay, you can just skip ahead like 20 minutes or whatever. So that this is your warning. So if you don't want to know yet, or you're watching it, or you want to watch it, then stop listening now, and we'll get back to you later. But if you're still here, hey, Sense8, wasn't that a great show?
Oh my God. It's such a great show. And for so long I was waiting on it. I don't remember when I first heard about it, but I remember first hearing about the premise of it. And I'm like, that sounds flipping amazing. So I like marked it on my calendar,
Oh, wow,
ready for it.
Serious about it.
I'm serious about it. It's what I do for stuff that I just obsess over even before it begins. And so yeah, so I was waiting on it, June 12th, waiting on it, dove into it, and I loved it. Everything about it, I loved it. I don't think it's flawless either, but I only think like a handful of things, films and shows are flawless or whatever. But
we'll have to revisit that.
We will.
Ones. But
so what do you think about it?
I really liked it, or loved it rather, because at first I was skeptical, because this had the Wachowski siblings, and I almost said it again because I almost said brothers. But the Wachowskis kind of fell in some hard times lately. Hard times meaning that they've been
bad movies.
Yeah, some really bad projects.
Yeah.
which
we won't.
we won't. Yeah, we won't get into that right now.
Just-
But I don't know. I think with a lot of other people that first started watching, and they're just trying to wrap their heads around what this show was or what it was about. And by the time I got to the end of it, I'm like, wow, this is really quite good. How just talks about all the just people connecting and just feeling each other and just I don't know. I'm at a loss for words already, and I didn't quite write down kind of words to describe that. I wrote down specific things, mostly from the first episode. But I don't know. I just really enjoyed it, and I really can't wait for season 2. And I'm pretty sure season 2 is coming. I looked on
Hopefully.
Netflix. They have almost like a perfect 5-star rating right now.
Good.
So
Good. Well, I think people, especially I was chatting with folks on Twitter about it, and I think you were in that conversation as well. But a lot of people were really skeptical about it because of the Wachowskis, or is it Wachowskis, because they were involved with it, and because a few of their past, most recent projects just were, not good in their opinion.
Right.
And so people are pretty skeptical about it, and I'm just like, man, but just give it a try. Just give it a try. And because I told you I love ensemble casts. I love interconnected stories, and this has that, plus the whole sci-fi, and not even a deep, I don't think, sci-fi route, but it's definitely elements of sci-fi there, and maybe even a little fantasy, depending on how you look at it. But it's just such a unique concept, and
strongly character driven.
Oh yeah. And it has to be, because all of these characters are connected. So when one goes through something, it affects at least one of the other people that they're connected to. So it's just great. It's like when you set up the dominoes, you knock one down, and it just kind of, it goes in order, and it knocks the rest of them down. That's what this show is. Mm-hmm. And it just gains momentum with each episode, and I love it. I love that.
And the fact that you can binge watch it means that you're going to have some issues trying to go to sleep at night if you decide to watch it. Like, see, it's 10 o'clock. I normally go to sleep at 11, but I have 3 episodes left. And next thing you know...
Might as well knock them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I finished it during the middle of the day, so I had time to just kind of bask in the story and just let it absorb, where... I guess you finished it late at night, so I don't know how you might have survived the rest of the day.
Lord, it was a rough day. It was a rough couple of days, because I watched the majority of them, at home after work and after long days. And so I am going to have to go through again just so I can catch the things that maybe my sleepy mind didn't catch. Mm-hmm. I think I caught everything, though, because this show really keeps me on the edge of my seat. And, I really started to empathize with them and feel like I was a part of their group. Wanted to be a part of their group, at least.
Yeah, I mean, because you empathize is like the perfect word, because that's exactly what everyone was doing. Just really feeling each other's emotions, mentally, spiritually, phically, even food at some points. Yeah. They were tasting things or having a craving for things. Now, I guess... since we are going ahead and spoiling things, we can just dive into the end, because that was like one of my favorite parts. Just seeing everybody help with the main character. Well, can't say main character because there's 8 of them, but Will going to go find Riley, and the whole escape plan. How everybody had to help out, and just
loved it.
It was just, I just loved it. All the way up to the end, to the very end, where they're on the boat and you can actually see all of them together. And that was something I really wanted to see.
I know.
I really wanted to see them all together, and they were. And I just I have this phrase I like to say where I got so excited I peed a little. So
a little bit. Just a little bit, yeah.
I was actually, I maybe almost was close to wanting to shed a tiny little tear, because
just a tiny tear,
just a tiny one, because it was just so much glee and happiness I was feeling that they're all there, they made it, and bring on season 2.
So my reaction to that, because that was one of the most satisfying. I mean, and there was a lot of satisfying points and moments in the show, but I think that was one of the most satisfying moments of the show, because it felt like from the very first episode, it was leading all the way up to them finally being truly one and being all there together
Right.
in, in the telepathic sense, of course, but
But they were open to help each other when,
right.
right
And
when
I'm
they
like,
needed
because
it.
I remember watching and commenting on this online somewhere that, I was ready for the group to like know about the other ones and, because it's one of those things. I'm the audience member. I know pretty much what's going on, and I'm ready for them to meet each other. And then they finally did. They kind of started, growing in their abilities, and then it just kind of the more tense certain situations got, or the more they needed one another or were aware of one another,
Right.
the more they were able to let that other person actually into their life. And so seeing them on the boat, just kind of there and knowing that they were all there, just, I mean, it was one of those moments you shed a small, tiny tear, and I rose to my feet slowly and did a slow clap, and did the fist pump in the air, kind of at the end of Breakfast Club type of thing. So it was just a great moment.
The slow clap would have been perfect, like if you started to slowly clap, and then the rest of the people in your cluster all came together to clap with you. So that
Because
way,
I do like to think that not just sense8, but sci-fi is somehow based in reality. Maybe that makes me crazy, but I do like to think it is somewhat based in reality or born from some type of truth. So that I would love. I think. Well, I say I would love to have a sense8 cluster. I don't know if I would actually love that. Maybe I would.
well, since you brought that up, that's also where I felt connected in this, and in fact, maybe one of those friends might actually be listening to this now because just like she'll relate, and we're like really good close friends, and we a couple years ago we felt that we had this superpower of empathizing. Like we could
Mm-hmm.
walk into a room and we could kind of feel what that other person was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Just with this friend, or just with other people in general.
it was with other people in general, but then when we got together and we
Mm-hmm.
just like really kind of felt each other's vibe, like whatever they were feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and or whatever she was feeling, like oh she was feeling sad and she didn't have to say anything, or I kind of knew why she was sad. But what made it even more bizarre is like she'd be, because she normally lived in New York, now she lives in California,
Mm-hmm.
but she'd be in New York, I'd be like doing my thing, and I remember one night in particular I was out at a some social party thing somebody invited me to, so I was there, and all of a sudden I just felt really kind of down and sad and upset, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and then later I find out that she, I don't know if it was like she broke up with someone or someone broke up with her. It was just some kind of emotional thing she was dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
and I find out I was like, oh, did that happen around like maybe 9 o'clock? And like, how did you know? And so yeah, it was
Well,
weird things like that.
I think that happens more often. Excuse me, more often than not. Especially you. I mean, you do hear situations like that with maybe a mother and a child, or especially in twins,
You're right,
like with twin
twins.
siblings. I think there's something to that. And even the sense8s, they're in this cluster, but they were all born at the same time, as if a twin, was born and in the womb with them. So I think there's parallels to that, and I think that stuff is based in truth. What you felt, and even having that ability to empathize with people, I think that's a real trait. Period. I mean, to what extent, I'm not sure of. I don't know that, but um, I was looking on somewhere today, even where they were saying that the Myers Briggs, or the personality types like INFJ or ENP, whatever. Those personality types. Some of them are more prone to be able to feel people out. And I'm INFJ, and I believe that's one of the characteristics. But they were saying that people like that are just more sensitive, and more sensitive to the energies and to the vibes of other people around them. So
Right.
I think there's something to that.
So with this kind of, I feel like they would kind of bring it into a kind of a pseudoscience versus science fiction, since it's,
Maybe, yeah,
or maybe the
maybe.
amplifying of this in Sense8 is makes it more of a science fictiony part, and you got the shadowy figure kind of following you around trying to kill you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
because
Which, yeah,
that's always in a lot of science fiction.
yeah,
You have
yeah.
some kind of shady character slash organization trying to bring you
Stop you.
down, keep it a secret, or
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know. I was really wondering how they're going to get away, and I wasn't expecting, uh, for him to knock himself out the way he did. I'm like, oh, okay, that's smart. That's a
Pretty
good way.
smart, yeah. I wasn't expecting that either. And I thought it was neat that he was in the car because he had just drugged himself to make himself unconscious,
Hmm.
but he was still able to basically, I guess, project out to where Riley was because they were, he was in the car and she was outside, just kind of out of it.
Right.
And I just thought that that was so beautifully shot and such an interesting way to portray what was actually happening. Like, even if they are physically in the same location,
Hmm.
they can still kind of tap into each other's minds and visit each other in that way. And it was just great. It was just great.
And then speaking of the whole visiting thing, I think that's where they really, every once in a while, they did put some kind of bits of comedy, which I thought was great, where
Mm-hmm.
they had with Riley and Will again when they decided to have a little makeout session.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Will was in his apartment, but I guess he was somewhere much more public.
I thought he was in his apartment too. But see, maybe the cop, I forget his name, maybe he just went to his
Or he was already there and just,
or something, because
yeah.
he actually, no, Will was in his apartment because Riley saw the or heard the train and was like, wow, this is loud. You sleep here? How do you sleep?
Hmm.
Because it was so distracting. So that was his apartment.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting because I was also wondering, like, okay, so where is this going and
Right.
how far? And then all
How
of a
was
sudden,
that? Yeah.
yeah, and then they
But
got it.
apparently it can go pretty far.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
What was that?
Uh,
Was that in episode 8?
it was, no, that was episode 6. You talking about the not safe for work one?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
because
Episode 6.
yeah,
And it
'cause I
was
don't think you
called
had seen it
Venus.
yet when we were tweeting about it, and
Yeah.
that's why I was giving that warning out to everybody. So
Oh man, and it was definitely not safe for work.
hopefully you weren't at work when you were watching it.
No, I was at home and I kept saying, "Are they what? Huh?" And I'm not a prude, but I just wasn't sure how that was gonna,
You weren't approved, but
you
you
know.
probably clutched your pearls for a second, just like, what's my
Well,
word?
not even so much that it's not so much that it's just I wasn't sure how that. I wasn't expecting what happened.
Do have
and
happened.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
just-
because it was.
yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
pretty much exactly how I was. Just okay, that happened,
Uh-huh.
and then it kind of kept happening, and then
And
it
then
ended.
it like added more people into this happening, and that's what really got me. Like, it's a lead. Oh, and then
Everybody,
she's okay.
just about
It's
everybody's
a
there.
big,
Yeah,
it's a big party. Okay,
it's a party. They're having a little party, and
it's a
that's.
party. All right.
I was just a little concerned because I don't think everybody actually was there because I don't remember.
No.
I keep forgetting his name. They are Kenyan friend.
Oh, Capheus.
Yeah, okay. Capheus.
Yeah,
Capheus.
something like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. Kala wasn't there. Sun wasn't there. Um, what's his name? The German guy.
Well, he was in the pool and they all
He
started
was
crawling up
he
on
was
him.
yeah, he was there, but he didn't seem to do anything. He
No,
was just
he was
kind of
just
there.
cool and laid back and
Like nothing, like this happens all the time.
oh well, this is a normal thing.
Well,
Do
but you know what? In reference to that, he did say something to Kala about how German people are more, they're not as uptight about nudity or something like that. So maybe it does have been,
I mean, he was
more
swimming in that
often than
pool just casually.
he was, birthday suit.
Yeah. Since we brought up Kala, because actually Wolfgang, I think, might have been one of my favorite
Wolfgang,
characters.
yes.
But
Yes.
Kala, this happens in, I believe, the first episode, if not the first or the second one. The whole Bollywood dance scene.
Yeah,
Um,
didn't like it.
you didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
Why didn't you like it?
Because, well, first let me preface by saying I absolutely love Bollywood. I love the whole genre. It's colorful, it's happy, it's fun, it's great. But I just thought it was so completely out of place right there.
Hmm.
Because if this is a show, this isn't a Bollywood show. This is, granted, they're Indian people, but this isn't a Bollywood production. So you don't expect a huge choreographed thing. And the only, like, okay, if it was just him and his guys doing it, doing the dance, okay, maybe they did choreograph it, fine. But then the girls got involved, and then Kala got involved, and she was doing the choreography. So I'm like, okay,
That's where I was confused.
yeah, like, how do you know? There's no way you would know this dance in real life. This is over the top in this setting. This is not a Bollywood production. You can't just bust out doing Bollywood unless it's supposed to be parody, and it wasn't.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's where you were going with that.
Well, it kind of was, because first of all, I'm not as familiar with Bollywood. Well, I guess as you are. I've only seen a handful, and I've only seen the highly Hollywoodized.
Yeah.
Oh man, Slumdog Millionaire. So, other than that, I'm really not that, well versed in it.
Is that even considered Bollywood?
That's why I call it Hollywoodized, because
okay.
it was by a Hollywood director, even though he's British, I think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Danny Boyle. Anyway, yeah, I was really just confused. I'm like, okay, I thought he was doing this as a surprise for her.
Right.
And then she gets up and gets her crew, and they, bust out their moves.
Right.
Which I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is planned, but now they're all dancing together.
So doing the same moves. Yeah.
Basically, it turned into, Step It Up or something. So
basically. And if that's the kind of movie or the kind of TV show that we're watching, okay, but it wasn't. It's not.
That was the only time that happened. So
exactly.
So there was no more dancing.
And I just thought that was maybe a little bit stereotypical, because it's not just because they're Indian and they know what Bollywood is and their culture created Bollywood doesn't mean you have to throw a random Bollywood scene into a non-Bollywood TV show. It's just there are boundaries, man. And
that was as beautiful as it was, because I like the sequence, beautiful. But it
was great sequence.
It kind of just threw me off a little bit, and then they go back into regular real life.
Right.
Really
don't
upset.
Do that.
That
just
really
don't
upset
do
you.
that.
And then also, again, going back to Wolfgang and Leto. See, I think it probably would have made sense if somehow Leto was involved in that, because if they were making a movie and maybe he was...
Right. That's a good point.
I'm stretching beyond here, but like, if Leto was involved in some kind of Bollywood movie and that happened, then it might make sense. But
yeah, now that's a really good observation, actually. I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because it happened in, like you said, the first or second episode, I don't remember, but very early on, they didn't know about each other. I think they were seeing glimpses of one another and, feeling each other a little bit, but they weren't aware of each other at that point. So even then, it probably wouldn't have made as much sense unless it happened later on in a later episode or something.
Right.
But I mean, I would buy it a little bit more if Leto had been, put in that situation, and because it did kind of happen like that in a later episode with him and Will. Remember that?
Yes.
So there we are.
But I did like actually Leto's and Wolfgang's swapping, basically, where Wolfgang had to lie.
Yeah, and then Leto had to act.
Right.
No, wait.
Oh, wait. Wolfgang had to fight.
Leto had to lie, and Wolfgang had to fight. Yeah,
so
that was really good.
I really liked that interaction with them. So that was
it was
nice.
Neat. It was neat. I really love seeing, because they're all so different and such different places, but to see them in each other's worlds and to see the connection that they really do have with one another. I love that.
And interacting like as if like, wow, I don't know what's going on. Where am I? And they just had this very genuine wonderment about them. And it just felt very real, even though it was a kind of a fantasy sci-fi kind of thing that was going on. So those little nuances I did pick up on, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah, me too. Now, what did you think about how they, like the scene that keeps coming to mind is when Sun and Capheus first saw each other, and so basically they're walking down the road. They have these big decisions that they have to make. Sun is contemplating whether she's going to take the fall for her brother's embezzlement of the family company, and if she's going to go to jail in his stead. And then Capheus, I think, is trying to figure out if he wants to work for the big bad and like deliver the package or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what was going on then.
think
It's
so.
all together now. Like,
I know, it's a big blur, but I think he was at the crossroads of trying to make that decision. So they're both walking sons in Seoul, and Capheus is in Kenya, Nairobi, and and then they just kind of seamlessly walk in each other's world, and then they see each other, and they just automatically know, okay, you don't belong here. You obviously have some kind of um, knowledge that I'm here.
hmm
To me, they just immediately connected with one another, and then they finally are like, "Do you speak? Do you speak Korean? Do you speak Swahili?" And they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
"No."
that part. Yeah,
What did you think about how they did the languages? Since none of them really spoke the same languages, except for maybe three of them
right.
or
And
four of them.
I think with that, for me, it made sense because if you just have this understanding,
Hmm.
and then you're seeing someone that you don't know, and you know they're not from here, yet they're speaking the language perfectly that you understand. But I think it goes beyond like that connection that people, or at least that these characters have with each other, where they can understand whether or not they speak another language.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a very deeper sense of connection. I think that's what that
Hmm.
means.
Yeah, I agree. At first, when I was first in the earlier episodes, I'm like, okay, surely not all these people, even before they, connected with one another, they were just kind of living their own separate lives. I'm like, I was a little upset that, and I even tweeted about it. I was a little upset that everyone was speaking such perfect English, granted
Mm,
in their their country's accent.
right.
But I was like, this is lame. Did they all speak English? I wasn't happy about that. And then I thought, okay, well, before I get upset, let me just keep watching, because sure, maybe, and I'm sure Netflix and the whatever production company didn't want to, the majority of the show to be in subtitles, which I can understand.
Right. Right.
And I was like, well, maybe they're just showing us or letting us hear English now because it's just easier to present it that way. And lo and behold, when they finally started talking with the other ones, they realized, okay, they're speaking a different language and I'm speaking my own language, but we can hear each other.
In
The
a language that makes
translation is
sense.
the translation is seamless, kind of like the TARDIS. But that's
Different world.
different ball of wax there. So, but I just thought that was beautifully done. I'm sure someone pointed out to me that that's a common sci-fi trope, like when aliens talk to humans and vice versa. And so it's kind of, they said it was been done. And I said, well, what hasn't been done, and I still love the way that they
Did they
um
address that
that
whole
they addressed that.
language
Yep.
barrier? That
They
there isn't a
addressed it.
barrier.
I'm sorry.
That there isn't a barrier when you're a
Right,
sensate.
with
So
not with them, yeah, not in your cluster. Doesn't matter where you're from or what language you speak, you're gonna understand it. And even sometimes they did show, like, I guess they broke the fourth wall. I don't know if that term applies here, but where some of them would speak their native language, and you did have subtitles,
hmm
just to kind of see that, yes, Capheus is speaking Swahili, yes, Sun is speaking Korean, but they can understand each other, and I just loved it.
and
Right.
really they're only speaking English for us or as the
Exact,
audience.
as the audience,
But
right? You don't have to
since you
do.
have Netflix, you can go ahead and change, which I actually did look at because at one point, I forgot why I was doing it, but I think I was trying to change these subtitles because I probably couldn't hear what was going on. Somebody was whispering and like, I'm like, oh, what did they say? And I have to go. Yeah, I'm explaining way too much, but they do have other options where you can actually change what's the audio into, I think, all the languages. They have
Hmm.
a really big category, more so than I see, because usually you just see Spanish or
Hmm.
maybe Korean or French, but they actually
Hmm.
had a lot more.
Hmm.
And something new that I'm seeing now, and I've seen it now on two things on Netflix, is where they have English, but they also have English where they describe what's going on the scene. So I guess maybe for
Hmm.
blind people, perhaps.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm saying that maybe to you and even to other people listening, just to go, check that out. I know that they definitely have it for Sense8, and what was the other thing I was recently watching, which I really can't remember now, but I've seen it somewhere else, some other show. So maybe
Hmm.
Netflix is doing that for all their things that they have.
That's cool.
Yeah, so all inclusive, so everybody can be involved.
Right.
Blind
Right.
people, deaf people.
Right. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Hey,
Every,
Cordy.
um,
That now I would have loved to see a deaf person as one of the sense8s.
yeah, I think that's the
I
only
would.
thing they left out is just having some kind of I guess, handicap or.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish deaf people were involved more in. I mean, in like the whole diversity movement. I just wish they're a group that you just don't see very often,
You're right.
in my opinion.
You're right. The only one that I can ever think of is I think her name is Marlene. I want to say
Yeah.
it's Marlene Martin, but
Yeah, it's something. I know who you're talking about though. She is the she's not the only deaf person I've seen in TV shows and movies and stuff, but she's definitely the most prominent one.
right.
And she's amazing. She really is amazing, and she's a great deaf advocate. But there are so many more people that represent that community, and I wish they were more represented as well. But maybe it's coming soon.
It's coming
Hopefully.
soon. Everybody's having their movements, so
Yeah, yeah,
so now I mean, at least we have all the nerds are now accepted, so we're good.
yeah,
We're safe.
yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, because I don't think I could have taken it anymore and just kind of keep it aside. Like, no, I like sports. Yeah, throw the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I do watch sports occasionally, but don't ask me anybody's name. I was like, oh, that guy, number
yeah.
24. So, but yeah,
I would never ask you about sports, so it's okay.
okay.
Nothing against them, just not my cup of tea.
What, sports in general is not your?
Just sports in general. I mean, I keep up with big news, but that's all I really need to know. Just who won and who's playing, and that's that's it.
Yeah, I'm the kind of a really passive sports fan. Like if a championship game is coming, that's when I'm kind of okay. I will vote for not vote, but I'm going to root for the underdog, I guess.
Yeah,
So
because why not?
yeah, or whoever my family is, or whoever's regional. So
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in New England, I guess for basketball, be Celtics. So yeah, but
yeah.
that's
That's
sports.
about it.
As for TV, then or movies, that's my game time is the Oscars and the Emmys. That's when I kind of really definitely geek out and just like, yes, I'm there Sunday night watching it. Not really in a tuxedo or anything, but I'm just there. And
See, I can't watch award shows. I think they make me so anxious, and that's weird because I have no like stock in who wins or who loses. It does not affect my day-to-day life. But it's just I don't know. I like the live performances just make me crazy.
the which
It's
performances?
weird. The live performances,
Oh,
like
live.
the
Oh,
live
yes,
and the
yes.
speeches and the stupid banner. I just can't. I can't get in it. I just can't do it. I can't.
That's again where the live tweeting comes in. It helps a lot because then there's
I'm
other
sure.
people just well, you know because you live tweet too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what makes the award shows for me, especially the last couple of years, that
Mm-hmm.
much more fun.
I can see that. Yeah.
And for me personally, I just like predicting at least the Oscars because it's a game to me, and people actually do get paid to do it. So if I,
To live tweet.
well, not to live tweet, but to like predict Oscars. But
Oh yeah.
normally
Yeah.
they kind of work for like a newspaper or magazine.
Oh
So,
okay. Gotcha.
but still, I gotta keep my skills up. So that way, like, oh well, I predicted the last four Oscars, and right now my running track. If I were to be graded on the way our grading system works, like F through A, I think I'd normally get a C, but it's not good enough for me. So, but I'm getting there, getting there. Last year, they really kind of threw us a loop. So, not last year, but the last Oscars. That's a different story. But hopefully, Sense8 will actually get some Emmy love. It should. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. At least for ensemble cast.
Hopefully we will see. If they're up, I may have to watch it this year.
Maybe I'll keep you posted, so you don't
Okay,
have to watch it. So
thank you. I really appreciate
because
that.
I know you'll get anxious and
You're a great friend and
probably
a great
you're
person.
rocking in your chair
Yeah,
slowly, just
slowly dying inside.
just losing your mind a little bit, and then and then we find you the next day, just kind of drooling, or we're having soup today. So yeah, we'll just
Yeah. Thank you for sparing me of that because it probably would happen.
Okay, well, noted, and I'll keep notes, and then so that'll be that. But that is all that I have on my list for today, and I shall release you back into the wild. Um, You've been a wonderful, lovely guest. I actually kept you longer than I told you ahead of time. Um, but once again, how can we contact you just to if we want to just see what you're up to, or maybe make an appointment of being shot, not by a gun, but by cameras or whatever. Um, you have contact information? Any plugs you want to plug?
Sure. I'm on Twitter. I'm very active there. It's at I am K Hinton. That's Hinton. So I am K, the letter K, Hinton. I'm on Facebook as Kortney Hinton Images. And my website is KortneyHinton.com, and Kortney is spelled Kortney. So KortneyHinton.com is my photography page. And as soon as the new business and new blog are launched, I will definitely let you know. And you can tell everybody, because I don't even know.
Oh, you
what
mean
that
you as
stuff
in
is.
me?
You,
right.
as
Gotcha.
in you, Sterling. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah, I don't even know what that stuff is yet. So, you'll get the word when I get the word.
I mean, we had you on the show just so you could talk about this new business, and you don't even have a plug for it yet?
No. Most likely, I'm trying to keep things simple. So most likely, the tags on Twitter and everything will stay the same. That's my hope, because I just can't deal with, too much. So, just follow me along there, and then, we'll learn together.
Sounds great, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And other things that you have in your future, because you are very, very talented. You're doing a lot of things. Hopefully you still remember to sleep and maybe eat something
sleep?
once in a while.
What is? I won't miss a meal, but I don't know what sleep is these days.
Sleep usually is when you close your eyes and you usually go unconscious.
That
Dreaming might
sounds
happen.
Amazing. That sounds amazing.
It can be. Sometimes it might be a little frightening because we intake so much information that all of a sudden all that information just replays in your head in some crazy way, and it doesn't make any sense. So when you do find sleep, watch out for that. That's called dreaming. Sometimes it might be a nightmare.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, those are a little a bad side effect of sleeping that can happen. So, but hopefully you get to the sleeping part, because then you're supposed to wake up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated and
ready for the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So maybe you might not have it. Maybe, or do you have batteries? Do you run on? Or
if that's the case, they need to be recharged. I need to be rebooted. No, I'm a real human girl. I promise you.
Okay.
Most days.
I'm about to say I'll have to call you Eva. That would be an inside joke for a few of us. But yeah.
Great to see, though.
Good callback. Yes.
Yeah. Good job. I see what you did there.
Yeah, 10 points for me. But yeah, thank you once again for being on the show, and hopefully we'll have you back. Maybe after your business starts, like in July, August, or something.
No pressure, though, right?
Yeah, no pressure. I'll have you in the middle of November when you're in the middle of writing something.
That's just cruel, man. That's just cruel.
That's how I like to play, just down and dirty. But thanks again for being on the show. And,
you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We will meet again soon.
All right.
Once again, I just want to thank Kortney Hinton for stopping by the Indoob podcast to talk about sense8, which has been renewed for a second season, which I don't think I talked about, again, because this was, recorded a while ago. But it's been renewed. It was renewed on August the 8th, which is why I wanted to do this particular episode in August, because, 8... You follow along, hopefully. But anyway, Kortney's website, vervehousecollective.com, is now live, so please go head on over and check that out, especially if you are a creative, you're an entrepreneur, or you're just a lover of life. Get linked up with all of their social media from their site. You can find their Facebook, their Twitter, their Instagram, their Pinterest. Get linked up on all that stuff and follow everything. Most important, please subscribe to the Pulse newsletter and get a free ebook written by Kortney herself. I read this; it's great. It's inspirational, really. It makes you just want to get out there and just do stuff, and it gives you that that ambition, that motivation to continue to write or create or whatever it is that you do. So, be inspired to be an inspiration and get verved. So there's that. And again, as always, you can follow me at indoob, INDOOB. Send me an email if you like. I prefer you tweet me instead. You can follow me on Instagram. I don't really do that much on there, but again, at indoob, INDOOB. And the blog, indoob.com. And I think that's all for now. Until the next episode, hopefully it won't be too long, but until next time, remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off.
The Indoob podcast was recorded on planet Earth and produced somewhere in the state of Connecticut. This has been another 3SFX production.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.